From the pages of MikeHuckabee.com, a place to read the news that you can actually trust. Let's take a look back at some of the fake news stories that make up the week that was. And to get my insights, fact checks, some wit, and some wisdom delivered right to your email inbox every single day, twice a day, in fact, all you got to do is sign up for the totally free Huckabee newsletter. That's at MikeHuckabee.com. 60 Minutes was the super spreader of fake news this week. The once highly respected program thought it might be a good idea to run a smear piece on one of the most effective governors in the country, Ron DeSantis of Florida. And Governor DeSantis is punching back hard. 60 Minutes made the claim that Governor DeSantis gave COVID vaccine priority to the public supermarket chain in exchange for campaign donations. In other words, he was accused of pay to play. When DeSantis was harassed by 60 Minutes reporter Sharon Alfonsi at an event last week, DeSantis strongly refuted that claim, spending about 3 minutes explaining Florida's vaccine program and the public's partnership. But instead of airing the governor's full explanation, 60 Minutes spliced and diced the tape, making DeSantis look evasive and untruthful. After the hit piece aired on Sunday, Publix came out against the fake news slime job, calling the report false and offensive. And two prominent Florida Democrats said nobody from the governor's office even suggested Publix. It was actually Florida Division of Emergency Management. In fact, the director, Jared Moskowitz, tweeted, "I said this before, I'll say it again. Publix was recommended by Florida Division of Emergency Management and Florida Department of Public Health, period. Full stop." He also added, "It's malarkey," which is a favorite word of Joe Biden. Now Governor DeSantis is giving a master class to other Republicans on how to respond to the fake news mob. He called the show's narrative a piece of horse manure. At least I hope he used that term. And a prime example of why nobody trusts corporate media. And the governor's right. The same reporters who spent 4 years suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, frothing at the mouth like rabid Dobermans, have turned into neutered Pomeranians licking Joe Biden's hand. If Joe Biden said that he went golfing and sunk 18 holes in one while blindfolded, they'd say, "Congratulations, Mr. President," and move on to their next smear on Ron DeSantis. Why are the knives out for Governor DeSantis? Let's throw in there the number 2024. That might have something to do with it. All right, on to the Twitterverse. After Joe Biden announced executive actions on guns Thursday, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert tweeted that Democrats flood illegal immigrants into our communities, support violent rioters, and want to take away our right to defend ourselves. Not about guns, it's about control. Kind of hard to argue with that. And former Congressman and current Senate candidate Mark Walker tweeted this video from Biden's press conference.
But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr., do solemnly swear.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr., do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
Office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Mark asked, which is it, Joe? Biden, during that press conference, also called gun violence an epidemic and a public health crisis. I wonder if Chicago or Baltimore or any other Democrat-run city will have to be placed in quarantine. And how about a well-deserved shame on you to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and state Democrats who agreed on a budget that includes more than $2 billion for illegal aliens. You heard that right. The state budget includes $2.1 billion in taxpayer-funded payments in the form of stimulus checks and unemployment-style benefits for about 187,000 illegal aliens. That's more than $1 billion more than small businesses are going to get in grants and tax credits after being forced to close by Cuomo's lockdowns. Illegal aliens could receive up to $28,000 a year, all from the generous taxpayers of New York, even if they don't know they're giving it away. Weekly, illegal aliens could receive $500 every week. And for those unemployed since March 2020, illegal aliens could receive on average $12,000. New York Republican Party Chairman Nick Langworthy had this to say, I quote, "The few brave Democrats who have dared to speak out against this outrageous proposal are being called racist by their own party. While many will appreciate the irony in Democrats turning on each other, the terrifying truth is that the state of New York has been hijacked by extreme leftists where racism is cheapened, and once again those who break the law are given priority." End quote. Well, that brings us to this week's shout-out. New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, who announced his run for governor next year. Zeldin says he wants to save the Empire State from the current governor, who has abused his power and trust, and the one-party Democrat rule in Albany and New York City that's driving people to move out just to escape the weight of crushing taxes, lost jobs, suffocating regulations, and rising crime. He called his campaign a last stand to bring New York back from the brink and return it to glory. I wish him good luck. That's not a personal endorsement of any specific candidate just yet, just an endorsement of everything that he said about New York and the desperate need for its government to be back in the hands of sane, competent adults. Finally, I leave you with this deep thought to help you in these times that you're having maybe trouble when you're dodging questions, as our president would one time maybe say.
Come on, man.
And until next time, these have been the facts of the matter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.